Where do we start?
When you think of villains in movies, most people think of Darth Vader or the Joker or Katherine Heigl, but my favorite villain of all time has always been Biff Tannen, played by Tom Wilson in Back to the Future.
Go get it!
So good. I heard an interview with him years ago, and it turns out he is an awesome painter. He paints pop culture toys and objects from his childhood. Look at the lighting on Dumbo. He is so good. There's something beautiful to me about recreating these toys you had as a kid. Because when you grow up, you're supposed to leave all this stuff behind. But you loved this stuff. All those toys that you spent so much time with are almost like family members. And when you get old and cynical, these toys become symbolic. Like they represent simplicity and innocence. So when you paint or build these toys, it's almost like a weird mourning process for like a little part of you that has died. My point is, Tom Wilson inspired me to start building stuff from my childhood, and I got a little carried away. My house is full of junk that I've built. I built Star Wars stuff, 8-bit Mario, Pee-wee's bike, Pee-wee painting, a little Predator family, father and son, and more Star Wars stuff. So I can't thank Tom Wilson enough for giving me years of just fun stuff to build. So on today's episode, I'm gonna build the hoverboard that he rode in Back to the Future. But before I play that video, I have a very special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Wilson.
Well, looky what we have here. Rich Wilson. Wilson? What kind of stupid name is that? But you're a carpenter, Rich. Good for you. I have carpentry in my blood. Yes, my grandfather was a carpenter. My brother does wonderful things. I said it's in my blood. It's not actually in my hands. Because if it was in my hands, I could actually do carpentry or something productive with my life. But I don't, Rich. I think it's fascinating that you build these pop objects and you're building an actual Pitbull. You've been inspired by my paintings, and I do, honestly, between Tom and Rich. I appreciate that very much, Rich, because I had this lying around with, oh, right there. Can you see it? This is one of the earliest ones. I painted something in order to get it back, because this is a bike, somewhat changed, but it's a Stingray bike with that flame seat with white that a group of thugs in Philadelphia, when I got it, actually stopped me on the bike, punched me in the face, knocked me off the bike, and took it. So I painted it in order, in a sense, in my heart, to get it back. It inspired me to paint a lot of those objects which were right, I think, at the beginning of that, the explosion of pop materialism, of injection molding in plastic, so suddenly toys and things were just coming out with reds, greens, blues, all these colors, which of course made quite an impression on me, on you, listen, on everybody. Hey, I'm an old man, and there's still nothing cooler than a colorful Hot Wheels car going down that orange track. I mean, that really is something. So that was an inspiration for the painting. But more than that, why I did it a lot, Rich, was I truly felt at that time, and look, at this time, that these paintings, all of these pop paintings, in a sense, are self-portraits. Because, in a sense, to the audience, I've become an object of pop iconography. So, and that's why all of the objects are actually singular, heroically lit from the side, and it's just the object itself. It's not in any context, for two reasons. One, because that painting is about your memory of the bike, not my memory of the bike. And secondly, all of them are self-portraits, painted by a person who has now been objectified by pop, and just like a bike, just like a Hot Wheels car, people see me and say, oh, look at that, you know, the guy from the thing, look, you know, and it's just the memory of what it was, not actually seeing a person. So that's generally the idea of the paintings. But I wish you well, Rich.
Thank you.
I do. You duded up, egg-sucking gutter trash. So listen, Wilson, why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
Let's do it.
Painted a movie on the side of a building. All the parts you could have hidden, you left exposed. Rewrote your history, then took out all the tragedy. Enunciating highs and mumbling through the lows. You know that all we have is who we are. All we know is that we've come so far. Painted a mural of a Mississippi girl. She traveled round the world just to come back home. Through builders of the pyramids, the pilgrims and the indie kids, hucking all the paper plates through the glass doors. You know that all we have is who we are. And all we know is that we've come this far. From small towns with small town ways, shopping centers, stunner shades, these heated spoons and razor blades, the future's ours.
Hey, Rich.
Yes.
Say hi to your mom for me. Rich.